I'm gonna play a couple of songs and you tell me if you've ever heard them.
And I always find something wrong. You've been putting up with my just way too long.
Or this one. Or this one. All of these songs have something in common, and it's that Mike Dean played a part in their creation. For those of you who don't know, Mike Dean is a record producer, engineer, songwriter who really helped kind of propel the up-and-coming Houston scene in hip-hop at the time throughout the 1990s by working with artists such as Scarface, the Geto Boys, UGK, and many more. And it's through that history, especially throughout the 90s, of him working with a lot of these artists that a lot of that Houston sound really got more noticed, especially through artists like Scarface and Odd Squad. I think a lot more people who kind of have paid attention to hip-hop history have definitely heard them, and if it wasn't for him kind of meddling with them and growing the Houston hip-hop scene, I don't think Houston hip-hop would be anywhere near where it is today without Mike Dean playing a massive part in it. He definitely got around with helping out a lot of the up-and-coming talent from that scene at the time, and it only propelled himself further when it came to the 2000s, where he kept working with a lot of those artists, and slowly throughout the early 2000s began working with Kanye West, and since then has worked on every single one of Kanye West's solo albums since 2004's The College Dropout. Mike Dean is one of the people that I look up to the most in hip-hop, whether it be because of how he kind of brought up Houston rap, or it be just because he is an insanely talented individual when it comes to what he does. It's just one of those things that I think more people should know about him, and should know about all of his contributions to hip-hop, especially modern day hip-hop as a whole. And I mean, even putting hip-hop aside for a second, he has done just insane work with other artists like Beyonce, Frank Ocean. He's also done a lot of work more recently with The Weeknd, and I mean, even in like 10 years ago he was working with The Weeknd. Just an insane amount of work and effort put in, but he has one of the most uniquely talented sounds that I've ever heard, and I don't think there's any other term to describe him other than the synth god, which I know he already has that nickname, but just is, I think, the perfect all-encompassing word to describe him both as an artist and as an engineer and a producer. And I mean, up until 2020 he hadn't really taken on his own ranks as trying himself as a solo artist, but I mean, now since then he's been doing his 420 series of albums, and it's just been some of the greatest sounding just instrumental track music I've heard ever. The music overall can only be described as trippy, or like a drug trip in the form of actual music. If you've ever wondered what the fuck like acid or anything like that was like, I highly encourage you to go listen to Mike Dean's solo work. It is some of the greatest sounding synths that I have, again, ever fucking heard in my life, and really, he elevates so many other people's music in a way that cannot be understated enough. He has worked, again, countless years with Kanye West, helping him put together his own sound from, again, The College Dropout all the way up to Donda 2 now, and he also did a shit ton of work on the more recent Weeknd projects, which has kind of helped bring up this almost like synthwave, pop, dark R&B sound that I love to hear from The Weeknd. And on top of all of that, Mike Dean just has one of the most, I think, identifiable sounds from anybody in music ever. It was just earlier this year that Future and Metro Boomin put out their 2 albums, We Don't Trust You and We Still Don't Trust You, and I believe it was the second album in particular that I heard a shit ton of Mike Dean on, especially considering that The Weeknd had quite a few guest features throughout that whole album, and through the first one as well, but the second one in particular, he had popped up many times, and there's a lot of moments where you can just hear an ungodly synth being played, and you know that that is Mike Dean doing that, and it's just one of the most insanely unique things, because I think a lot of times, you know, unless somebody's extremely talented with an instrument, if they play a backing track or they play an instrument and then they get it looped or whatever for a song, it's kind of just out of the mind, you know, just saying somebody played that instrument or somebody played that synth, somebody played whatever. But Mike Dean has such a particular way in how he can fuse things together and how he can utilize tools in the studio to really give it his own unique craft that I can listen to a track and tell you, oh yeah, that sounds like a Mike Dean synth, or that sounds like something Mike Dean would do. I wonder if he's on the song. Go look at the credits, and there he is listed either as an engineer or as a producer. And again, it's really, really fucking understated just how important this man is to modern day hip hop. Name any massive record from the 2010s, I will guarantee you Mike Dean had some part in playing if it was a hip hop album. Everything from Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, all the way to Travis Scott's big breakthrough mixtape, Days Before Rodeo. I mean, he played just massive parts in all of these projects, as well as, and I think specifically shining through on Kanye West's Yeezus and The Life of Pablo. He really just helps capture a super duper creative sound that I value and cherish so much, because every time that I hear it, it is like a drug. It is the most peacefully soothing but yet chaotic display of music that I think I can ever fucking describe. And Mike Dean specifically, I think, is one of those people that I just genuinely think a lot of modern day hip hop is owed to him. A lot of modern day hip hop's changes and success and sound always should go and be devoted to him. He has helped in so many ways develop and upgrade the sound of hip-hop. Just over the past 10-15 years, it has changed with him in the background of that image, kind of modifying it to become more of this instrumental heavy experimental sound, like that found on Travis Scott's Rodeo or Days Before Rodeo, where it always has that beautiful shine of synth and guitar that's rough. It maybe has some distortion on it, and it always just sounds beautiful. And that could all just be my personal opinion. Maybe I'm the person who likes that, and maybe that's why I cherish Mike Dean so fucking much. But seriously, I mean, he's what, 59 now? And to this day, he is still pushing forward that sound and changing up the sound in general of music in such a way that it's just fucking magical. I think most people would know Mike Dean specifically from his work with Kanye West. Again, obviously with him basically working on every single Kanye solo project since Kanye put out his debut. But I think when you really break it down and look at it, artists like Mike Dean and Kanye have some fantastic chemistry together, and every time that they work, they make fucking magic. It is insanely hard to describe, but something about those two being together in the studio creates some of my favorite songs that I'll ever hear in my lifetime. They sound fucking fantastic. And one of my favorite things as well is hearing Mike Dean live play these songs that he had contributions to. Both the Free Larry Hoover concert with Kanye West, where Kanye played Black Skinhead, and Mike Dean uses a super duper distorted sound on this heavy guitar, just kind of shreds it, and it sounds disgusting. It sounds broken, but it sounds fucking phenomenal. All the way to Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival 2021, where you can hear Mike Dean playing live synth over these songs that he helps produce in some way, whether it be from Astroworld, Birds in the Trap, Rodeo, anything along those lines, but you can hear him adding a new layer to them that just sounds fucking phenomenal. He also did the opening sets for the US tour for the Weeknd's After Hours Till Dawn tour, which I'm super sad that I got to miss, because that would have been an insane show to see. And just in general, Mike Dean's one of those artists that I would love to see perform live. I really just like watching him get into the zone of crafting the sound, and you can't predict what's coming next. Only he would know, but even then, I don't think he knows what's coming next. He just flows with it. He just brings a couple of synthesizers on stage and just goes fucking insane with them and creates a heavenly sound that I really think, if you haven't dove into any of Mike Dean's solo work, is totally worth a listen, especially 424. I'm sure I'm going to have some of his music playing as the backing track for this video, so if it is, what you're hearing right now is probably a Mike Dean song, but it is just fucking phenomenal overall work that really should be analyzed and cherished more, because holy shit, this guy is a secret weapon for music. Anytime that he's brought onto a song, you can amplify a song's overall vibe by like 100x. It's fucking crazy what he does. The fact that he is able to so easily apply this thing that he's good at with a synth to pretty much any fucking song and create this whole new, like, chaotically beautiful distortion, that I think that's really the best way I can describe it with synths, is fucking awesome. And a lot of times it's not even distortion involved. Sometimes it's just him playing a synth, but he knows what to do and he knows how to control it to get the sound that he wants out of it so well that he can just bring to life anything that he's looking to bring to life. And I, again, really think that if you have enjoyed Kanye's work, or you enjoyed Travis Scott's work, or any of the other artists that he's worked with, again, like Jay-Z, Frank Ocean, Beyonce, The Weeknd, I highly, highly implore you to go and check out Mike Dean's solo work. It's some of the greatest sounding shit that I've ever heard, and I hope to God that if you check it out, you also find something to love about it. It's beautiful, beautiful sounds. I'll try to remember to link his Spotify and his Apple Music down below in the description, because I do genuinely think everybody should check it out. It is beautiful music, and I think if you, again, like hip-hop, you'll probably end up liking his synthwave stuff as well. Just amazing sounds, and overall, some of the greatest shit that I've heard. And honestly, that's it. Like, I just wanted to make this video to shine a light on Mike Dean. I really love Mike Dean, love the shit that he does. I think he's a really cool person. He obviously has a super duper well-known look of him, just like with like a blunt in his mouth, playing synths, just in his fucking zone, and I love that fucking style from him. So yeah, man, absolutely. That's gonna do it for this one. But if you guys did enjoy, be sure to hit that like button. Also be sure to comment down below what you guys think. If you guys already knew who Mike Dean was, and if you did, let me know what your guys' favorite song that he has contributed to, or your favorite song by him is. And if you haven't, let me know if you are interested in checking out anything by him. Again, I'll try to remember to link his stuff in the description, but if I don't, you can always just go on Spotify and Apple Music and look up Mike Dean, and you'll probably even get recommended some of the songs that he has contributed to with credits. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I appreciate you guys. Love you all. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, it's been Beckman, and peace out.